Thank you, Bev, and thank you to everybody who's here tonight. Thanks to NHNRA. Just to tell a little more of the background story on how we got to Springfield. In 1980, the Local Initiative Support Corporation was formed, and it began to look to support nonprofit-based affordable housing across the country. And it focused in on the work we were doing in Boston and thought that that was a model that other places could learn from. And so they started dragging people to Boston, people from Miami, people from Denver, and all of whom said, why don't you come to our city and help us do what you're doing there. But we heard Bev calling, so we went to Springfield. But the truth is, it was, I think, in a reflection on really what we all know about the work that we all do, and that is that ultimately it's very local. Ultimately, the success of what we do is in the success of the communities we create. And I think as those of us at GBCD at the time looked at the organization going into the future, we wanted to be able to really be local, be a presence, be on the ground in the communities that we worked in. And so we've really continued to try to be able to be local in, I know it seems a bit of a stretch to say local in 14 states, but really to really be ultimately hold ourselves accountable to the families that we serve, the housing, and the communities that we are a part of, and to whether what we've done, maybe most intensely in the complex financing, but what we've ultimately done in the bricks and sticks that we've created is actually able to make life better for families on the ground in communities. So I feel very fortunate to have been able to have spent over 40 years doing the same work that all of you in this room are doing, and work that I think is so important for this country, and that is providing a decent home at an affordable cost to families that are in need and that won't have that without us. It's a time when that is ever more in need. Just at the turn of the century, 11% of this country lived in poverty. By a decade later, it was 15%. Today, it's more than that. So we're talking about close to 50 million people in this country that live in poverty. And through the work that you all do, about a quarter of those, a little over a quarter of those households are able to be significantly better off by having decent and affordable housing as at least a base for trying to survive poverty and trying to move their life forward. So you are all anti-poverty warriors, and I guess one of the things that, having had a little bit of time to think back on my time at TCB, have led me to think about is I wish that I had, and I did some of this, but I wish that I had gotten to know the lives and the experiences and the challenges that more of the families who lived in the housing that we created faced. And so what I would really urge each of you to do, and I know, for some it's a little more complicated than others to figure out just where it is that this works, but you're all very much a part of making a successful environment for a lot of poor families. And I urge you to find a place where you've been a part of that, get to know a family and what their life is like, and how you can be useful to it. And let that experience enrich your understanding of the value that you bring to the work and the value of the work that you do every day. and let it also embolden you to continue to fight for more resources, for more of an investment in the in those families, and for a fairer, more economic justice in this country. Thank you very much for this award, and I want to say thank you particularly to my colleagues at the Community Builders who have been such an extraordinarily committed and able group of people that I have gotten the wonderful experience to enjoy working with. And now one of the real kicks that I get now is that I get to talk to people in the organization. I get to look back on my time there, and I get to watch the organization and know that with the extraordinary talent leading it forward into the future, its best days are in front of it. So thank you for this award. Thank you all for the work that you do every day.